And welcome to the Results Was OK podcast. Today, joining me from the sunny UK, a good friend, colleague of mine, who's a very interesting background. I think ex-military, RAF, into business, drives a Mustang, international speaker, business coach, lifts dumbbells for a living, all that sort of thing. I'll let him introduce himself. Craig Smith, welcome to the call.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. We're not allowed to talk about Brexit, though it doesn't seem to be going very well on the 21st of March.
That's my conversation out the window then.
We won't talk about that or anything to do with passports or anything. So, welcome to the call. Thank you for your time coming on the call. Just for those people who maybe don't know you or never heard of you, I find it hard to believe that nobody has. But who's Craig Smith? Give us a quick overview, rundown. Who's Craig Smith?
Well, I think he's a product of April Fool's Day of '76. I think that's the way it all started. Yeah, sort of grew up in the Midlands in a little town called Colville in Leicestershire. Spent all my formative youth here, and then I joined the Air Force at 17 as an aircraft engineer.
Okay.
Travelled all around the world. I was on a couple of different squadrons, 101 and 617, the Dam Busters.
The 617 squadron, really? Wow. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. We sort of travelled around, fixed jets, got some medals, had a few beers, and thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. But I've been doing martial arts as a child. Got my black belt at 16, and when I joined the Air Force, it all sort of stopped for a few years. Until I got to my first squadron, and my flight commander turned around to me and said, "Do you do a sport?" I said, "No." He says, "Oh, that's a shame. You'd have got Wednesday afternoons off." I went, "I do martial arts," so I got Wednesday afternoons off.
Change of mind, I do a sport.
that was me getting back into martial arts, was purely to get the Wednesday afternoon off.
Right.
For sport. So I sort of went from there, and was doing martial arts then. Every station I went to, it seemed that we never had any continuity. So I went from karate to kickboxing to taekwondo. So I've had the privilege of doing lots and lots of different styles of martial arts, and sort of growing with them. And then at about, when was it? Early 2000s. I was coming towards the end of my first contract, my 12-year point, and I decided that I'd already set up a club and it was doing quite well. It wasn't a business as such; it was just a bit of fun, really. And I thought, I really enjoy this. It's so much easier than going to the desert getting shot at. So I decided to bang out and become a full-time martial arts instructor with no business sense or anything. And it was great fun. Why not just bite the cherry and go for it?
So I mean, I think for a lot of guys, I assume, I know people have come from the military, the RAF or the army or whatever it is, leaving the military, coming into civil life can be quite a bit of a shock to the system. I mean, how did you find that? You jumped into business anyway, but how did you find the change? Was that a big shift for you, or is it pretty straightforward?
It's massive. It's incredibly difficult. Basically, in the military, you're so well looked after, and you don't appreciate it at the time, but you are really well looked after. You can't get in any financial trouble because they won't let you. All right, and you have to ask permission for this, that, and the other. So they have got a degree of control of your life, but they do it for a good reason, to make sure that you don't get any problems and things like that.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, you're out in the big wide world, and you haven't got that safety blanket there. There's no safety net trying to grab you if things go wrong. But more so, I found, particularly when I first started out, I trusted everybody implicitly.
Right.
And that was a big mistake, actually. I made quite a few big mistakes in the first couple of years, but that was one of the major ones. And I think what it is in the military, it doesn't matter which service we're in, you might not like the guys you're working with, you might not get on with certain people, but you can absolutely depend on them 100% with your life. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and they would have your back no matter what. Whereas I found very quickly in Civvy Street, that wasn't the case at all.
And so going into business, I mean, would it have been, I don't know, easier in hindsight, I don't know, to go and get a job and then go into business, or are you happy, you're pleased you jumped into your entrepreneurial journey on day one?
It's a mixed bag, really. Yes, I'm pleased I jumped straight into it, because, like I said, and you knew me early on, I made a hell of a lot of mistakes. In fact, I made sort of 6-7 years of constant mistakes on a daily basis. it's no wonder I've got hardly any hair now. But but those mistakes have shaped me to what we are now and what we've become now. So I don't regret any of them, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Nor do I regret joining the military. I mean, that shaped me as an individual. When I was growing up, I was actually very underconfident. Mm-hmm. I was from a very loving background, but my parents weren't particularly business minded. In fact, something that really sticks out to me is my dad saying to me years and years, I would only be about 13, 14, saying that people like us don't run businesses.
Wow.
And that's always stuck in my head, always stuck in my head. I mean, like I said, they're a very loving family, and I grew up in a great house, but little things like that do stick with you. So I was in that mindset probably until my early 30s, really, that people like me didn't run businesses.
It's strange, isn't it? Or interesting. We'll probably come back to that. What we say to youngsters, to children, as almost a passing comment, can really stick with them and form our mindset for years to come if we're not very careful. We have to be very careful what we say, don't we?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And so you've had. I mean, how long ago is this? And how long you've been running your for sort of Stealth now? Is it how long you've been in the business for?
Well, the Black Belt Academy was 13 this Saturday just passed.
Oh, well, so, congratulations. Okay, so you've been 8 years now then.
So anybody knows we love cake at Stealth. It's our big thing. We really should be sort of cake connoisseurs. We could run our own level. So, yeah. 13.
So people listening to this, and maybe they've got a job, or maybe they're in the military looking to come out, or whatever it is. What are your sort of top ideas, tips, learnings, message for people thinking about going into business, whether it's martial arts or otherwise, based on your experience? What would you advise them to do, maybe even different than you do? What are the sort of top 2 or 3 things you say, well, think about this before you jump into business?
Yeah. I don't think a business is something that you can go into just because you want to run a business. I think you've got to have, an aptitude for it, but more so, you've got to have a vision for it. Mm-hmm. No matter what, it's the vision that's going to steer you through. Because times are bad, times go up and down. I mean, there's that drawing that goes around. Everybody sees it. The business in a straight line. This is where you are now. This is where you want to be. And then you've got the other side of the drawing, which is the squiggly line up and down and round and backwards. And yeah, well, I actually drew that. Pretty much.
That was your business plan, was it?
That was my business plan when we first started out, yeah. And I didn't have a plan. This was the thing. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to teach martial arts. I didn't know what I wanted to do with that martial arts school at the time. I just thought I'd be teaching, kids and adults kickboxing and karate for the next 30, 40 years. Uh-huh. Like I say, I'm 13 years in now, and my body's sort of breaking left, right, and centre. So it's something I've come to accept and realise that I can't do for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And we've built a team under that to do it. But if you are sort of thinking about running your own business and starting something, have the passion. The passion is going to get you initially started, mm-hmm. and then have a vision for what you want that business to look like in 3, 5, and 10 years' time.
Excellent. Okay. I think I find a lot of people when they come into, or they're thinking about going into business, they tend to talk themselves out of it because they don't know enough, or they don't have the time or the money. They're too young, they're too old, they're too whatever. There's a lot of excuses. For you, you didn't seem to have that. I noticed just earlier in the conversation you said that before you joined the military, you were sort of quite shy and retiring, not very confident. That's not the Craig that I recognise, I have to say. But you overcame that. That was well done. But these sort of what did you have? These sort of concerns and fears, or did you just blindly jump without really realising what you're letting yourself in for?
I think I've always had sort of the insecurities. I grew up as quite an overweight kid. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't bullied as such because although I was overweight, I was huge as well. So bullies sort of tended to leave me alone. Otherwise, I'd sit on them. But it was, it was one of those things that it does affect you. And I wasn't an outgoing kid as such, mm-hmm. but you join the military and the confidence that they instill in you, and the self-discipline as well, and the self-belief. Yeah, that is definitely something that has grown and shaped my life going forward. Mm-hmm. But I've still got a switch where at home I'm nothing like I am in business. In business and at work, I'm this domineering, alpha male. Yes. Whereas at home, I'm very much told what to do. Yeah, I've met Mandy. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I can understand. Yeah, good. But yeah, I think that in any business you need that. I know, obviously, in your business it's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We both have bosses, don't we? Absolutely.
We do have bosses, but I mean, I find it fascinating that your boss knocked your tooth out because you did some. Oh, I wasn't. That's the real story. I wasn't allowed to say that, was I?
No, they don't mention the tooth. Don't. This is why we're not doing video while we're doing audio. I've got to have to think of a very good story for that. So thanks for reminding me. Very kind. and so on that point, I know you have a fabulous family, and your family's involved within the business to a certain extent. How do you get that balance? Because I know you have a lively social life, but also personal life. You do a lot of traveling and all that sort of thing. How do you keep that balance? Without getting the business sucking you in 100%?
Well, I think the business did suck me in for a long, long period of time. Probably for the first sort of 8 years, I was 100% engrossed in the business. Purely because I needed to be. I was a one-man band at one point. My wife actually went into labour whilst she was in the reception downstairs while I was upstairs teaching her class, and she crawled upstairs to tell me her waters had broke. So I had to stop the class and apologise and then take her to hospital.
You stopped the class? That's a bit severe, isn't it? My goodness, couldn't she wait? What's going on?
I got back the next day, don't worry. But, but my youngest has actually grown up within the business. He was always there because Mandy was still working the reception for me, when he was a little toddler and things like that. So it is very much a family business. The older one actually works for me now. He's the head instructor at our Colville Academy. But again, he sort of grew up with martial arts from being a kid, and going right through to he went away, joined the army for a couple of years. Hated it. He just didn't get on with that side of things. But he damaged his knee, so. Had to have reconstructive surgery on his knee. They told him he'd never kickbox again, he'd never do any sports again, and he's back now doing it better than he's ever done it. So again, that just shows you with the right mindset that you can actually achieve anything.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. And so this is something I think a challenge for me. We have the family business, as you know, and for other people and people listening in. So when you're at home, it's not Craig on stage. It's you, Craig, his dad and husband. How do you turn off and or not talk about business all the time over the dinner table, if you like? Where is there a mechanism, a set of rules, or some principles you sort of guide by?
Not so much really. It's actually it comes very naturally to me. I purposely don't talk about business at home because when we do, we argue. Mandy is very headstrong at home, and if we bring work home, she has more opinions at home than she does actually at work in the business.
Right.
So we have learned over the years, for the for the sake of the marriage and everything else, that we don't talk at home. But yeah, she was very heavily involved in the business in the early days, because you couldn't afford other staff and things like that.
Yeah.
But that in itself is quite a strain. I mean, most businesses are started as a family business, and I know several of my friends have got family businesses, but it is incredibly difficult being dad or husband or wife or whatever, and working with that same person 24/7. In some scenarios, it's fantastic and it works really, really well. But I've always found it quite a challenge. So we have a strict policy of when we come home, that's it. I mean, Mandy's not actually directly involved with the business anymore. She's still got a lot of input, but she's not, day to day there anymore. So, and it works really well there.
Yeah, I think because I see this, that sometimes partners, husband and wife, wife and husband can work well together, and sometimes you can have a great marriage, great relationship, but they just can't work together. If you want to destroy a great marriage, work with each other. Sometimes that can really destroy. You guys have found a way through that.
Business. Well, a couple of years after we first started, I brought my little brother in. There's 10 years between. We've never got on particularly well. Because of the age gap and things like that, and then I moved away, while he was quite young as well. Yeah. So we didn't correspond or anything. But through 2-3 years we worked together, we almost killed each other every day. We're very, very similar characters, and it just did not work. And we had a massive relationship breakdown. We stopped speaking for nearly a year at one point. Really?
Wow. Okay.
But since we got back together and things like that, and we get on better now than we've ever gotten. I mean, Matt trains. He's one of my black belts. Yeah. He's a fantastic martial artist in his own right. Working together was a big, big no-go, and would never go there again.
So Stealth now. Describe Stealth for everybody. Give us an idea. What size? What sort of flavour? What do you do? How's the business look at the moment? For what you achieved in the last 13 years?
Cool. Well, like I say, Stealth is a martial arts club, but right from the off, I wanted something very, very different. I've been involved in teaching in other people's clubs before. I'd run my club private to that as well, but it was always very much just a martial arts club.
Yeah.
So people would come, pay a fee, take a class, go home. When I started Stealth, I had this idea, because I used to play rugby as well at quite a high level, and I decided that I wanted a rugby club feel to it. So the very first thing that we installed when we got our own premises in Colville was we installed a bar. And
in a martial arts club. Okay, excellent.
Why not? So yeah, that bar became very much the social hub of the club.
Yes.
So people would come in a half an hour before class, have a chat, and sit down with the friends and things like that. So it formed relationships within the club.
Yeah.
Then they go and take the class, and then afterwards, they maybe have a drink or something after class. But nearly every weekend in the early days, we had a social function on. I mean, me, I'm quite an extrovert at work, so
yes.
fancy dress. And every weekend we did a different fancy dress, and it was very much a young man's rugby club.
Sure.
But we invited families in as well, and I mean that was one of our key successes, was bringing the families in. So. Yes, it's a bar. Yes, the people are having alcohol and things like that. But we put a play barn in there so that the kids could be busy whilst their parents had a drink, and it was somewhere a safe environment for families to come and not just train together, but actually socialise together at weekends.
Sure.
And that was a huge growth thing for us. And over the years, it's worked fantastically well, and we've had refit after refit, and it is a stunning bar now as well.
Yes.
Not just a martial arts centre. We've actually got a second centre as well. Which is going back to the old side of things, which is just a martial arts club. What that does is, because it's a much smaller premises than Colville, it's about 2,000 square feet, the Holland Centre. We use the Colville as a HQ, so for all our functions, our awards nights, our gradings, anything really to do with the club, the fight nights and things like that, we bring all those over to Colville as well. So it's like an extended family all getting together. Yeah, it works fantastically well. We've included now a new gym area into the main centre of Colville. Colville's quite a big centre. It's like nearly 6,000 feet in total with the upstairs.
That's a big unit, isn't it? And that's a lot of space.
It is, yeah. And you see a lot of these martial arts clubs where they've got a huge space, and they've got a number of students on the mats, and that's a great thing. But what we've done is we've actually decreased the area of the mats, and we've got 3 different areas going all at the same time. So rather than having one massive class, we now have split the kids into different ability groups and different age groups. But as a parent, I've taken both my kids to swimming and football and all the other activities that parents do. A real annoyance is when you've got 2 kids and they're in different classes because of their age or their ability or whatever.
Sure.
So that parent is giving up an entire evening to sit in a reception whilst their kids do the things. And we're incredibly thankful to the parents that do that.
Yes.
But because of the layout of our Colville Centre now, they can have 3 different kids at 3 different age groups and 3 different levels, but they're all training within the same 45-minute slot. So it's easy on the parent as well, and that's really helped the growth of the academy too.
And you also have now you've introduced the Strength Forge, is it? Now there's what I would call weight training. I might be underselling it, but where did that come from?
Well, as I retired from martial arts, I say retired from martial arts. I've never retired from martial arts. I retired from the competing side of martial arts myself. Back in 2011.
Right.
Basically, I decided I was too old then, which was, in hindsight, a massive mistake. I still had 3 or 4 years left of competing within me, and I used to love the competing side. But because of the bar and because of the social life, I piled the weight back on, absolutely piled the weight, and I went back up to sort of 24, 25 stone.
Gosh.
Which, although I'm a 6'2" frame, it's still a hell of a lot of weight to carry that I didn't need.
Sure.
But it didn't matter, because I was having a great time every weekend in fancy dress. And I'd even ignore the because Facebook was just coming in then, and you'd sort of ignore the photographs that you look at yourself on Facebook thinking, oh, he's a big lad. That's me. But then there was something that happened on New Year's Day of 2000. It was 2011 actually. So yeah, 2011 on New Year's Day, had a heart attack, and that sort of went, oh, you really need to sort your life out here.
Yeah, wow, so, absolutely.
being a very goal focused person, and thinking, right, well, do I throw myself back into training martial arts? Because at the time I was teaching 20 odd classes a week.
Wow.
And I was telling everybody the health benefits of martial arts, and you must do this and you must do that, and it's going to do this for you and make you slimmer, it's going to make you stronger. Yeah. And there's me, a great big 24, 25 stone mess, having a heart attack. So I wasn't really sort of talking the talk and walking the walk at the same time.
Sure.
But the good thing that came from all that was it was a massive, massive wake-up call. I got a young family, yeah. And there I am lying in a hospital bed of entirely my own doing.
Sure.
I mean, it wasn't just the heat, the eating, the drinking, and that sort of thing. It was actually the poor lifestyle choices that I was making.
Yeah.
And it really did wake me up. So I got into the gym side of things to lose a little bit of weight. First, I went down the running route initially, and massive mistake. I'm definitely not the world's biggest advocate of running. I don't like it. I think all runners are weirdos. Sorry, runners, but you are.
Just for those listening in, apologies for that.
But for a guy that is that big, running on hard surfaces,
yes.
As I found out, it actually destroyed my knees. What was left of my knees, anyway.
Right.
So I had to stop that quite early. So I got into the gym side of things. I joined a local gym, mm-hmm. And I got really into it. And then I got back into the martial arts because I started dropping the weight. And I trimmed down to about 17 stone at the time, which mm-hmm. was, sounds a lot, but it's actually quite slender for myself.
Sure.
So yeah, and that was sort of where the weights came from.
Right.
And then this guy that I used to go to the gym, he put my fee up. And I says, come on, why are you putting my fees up? I think it was a couple £100 a year. Uh-huh. Yeah, in fact, it was £200 a year because we only went during the daytime.
Right.
And I said, well, why is it going up to 250 this year? He says, well, I've had a few new bits of equipment and I've got to put your fees up and this, that, and the other. So me being me, I had a right strop on about it and went straight on eBay and started building up my own gym.
Right.
I'm about £70,000 into gym equipment now. So, yeah, I really do wish I'd paid him the extra 50 quid.
The 50 quid would be a lot cheaper in hindsight, wouldn't it?
It would, but we have now got a fantastic gym.
Yes.
But when we've monetized the gym now, because obviously it's become a public gym and, part of the business.
Yeah.
We're not a gym because in the gym world, it seems to be at the minute the race to the bottom. So you've got all these chain gyms opening with, $9.99 a month, and they're basically property companies that are just sitting on the property and growing.
Yes,
which is fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah.
But the service that they offer, what they've got is not great. So again, what we thought is we need to turn this gym thing up on its head. Mm-hmm. So we charge a real premium per monthly price.
Yeah.
But what we would give them is unparalleled service. So they're actually getting, it's all small group training. Nobody just goes in the gym and trains. Mm-hmm. You've got a dedicated personal trainer that will teach exactly what to do, the correct way to do it. So it's small group personal training as such. And it's going from strength to strength. We only launched it last September. Mm-hmm. We've had the gym now for a number of years, and it's grown and grown and grown. But the Strength Forge launched in September, and it's our biggest growth area at the minute.
Wow. And so for Stealth as it is now, we've got the Strength Forge and they've got Haven, lots of new students coming through, all very good. What's next? What's the vision? Where do you see Craig Smith and co in the next sort of 12 months, 2 years, do you think?
Well, Stealth, the business, is now operating with your help. That's something that I do need to get in. I met you about 5-6 years ago. Uh-huh. Real struggling business person, didn't have a clue and things weren't going right. And since I met you, I can't thank you enough. You've helped me return around my life and start thinking right. And Stealth has gone from strength to strength since then. So,
you're very kind. Very kind. Thank you. No, it's been a journey. It's been a joy as well. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem at all. It's so Stealth is now operating without me as such. Mm-hmm. So I'm the grumpy bear that goes in and growls at them now and again. But 80-90% of the time, I don't need to be there now.
Right.
So from the Stealth business point of view, we would like one more centre. We're probably going to include the Strength Forge within that.
Yeah.
That's definitely, like I say, our biggest growth area.
Sure.
But it's really about building the team and replacing the current team that we've got with, younger models, as I like to call them, because I've replaced myself with, people 20 years younger than me.
Yes.
So we're building these new instructors right the way through from sort of 12, 13, So that by the time they're 18, 19 and they're black belts and they've got the experience behind them, they can replace our current instructors who will then become the managers of those centres. So from that side of things, that should, touch wood, everything should be tickety-boo and run all by itself.
Right, okay.
For me, obviously I've got into the business coaching side of things now as well through your help, and the speaking, which I absolutely love.
Well, you are an international speaker now, of course.
I'm an international speaker, yeah. I spoke in Luxembourg with yourself a few weeks ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've got another one coming up next month as well. So I'm really enjoying that side of things. It's I feel very at home on stage. I'm a bit of a show.
I hadn't noticed, but you're right. But I think it brings out or allows your personality and experience to shine through, which is great. It's really good to see.
Well, I think that's one of the things that, from my point of view, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that, but if everybody was the same cup of tea, it'd be a bit bland. So I like to say things, and if I get told off for it, I'll apologise. But if I don't, I've got away with it, which is quite good.
And I know when you came to Luxembourg to speak at the presentation we had, I think it was about 60 people in the room, 20 odd nationalities were there, and you didn't mention the Dam Busters once, which was probably a good thing for Luxembourg.
Yeah.
The good
it was under orders not to mention the war, wasn't it?
Exactly.
So I want to grow that side of things. I want to do more speaking. I'm very much into my travelling, always have, and that comes from my RAF days. I've spent most of my adult life in one way or another out of the country for a couple of months, at least a year. I mean, at one time it was nearly 9 months of the year for a number of years. So, again, you and I, we're doing a charity event in 2 months' time. It's only 8 weeks. I can't believe this.
Is it really? So, yeah, it is, isn't it? Wow, yes. And we're going to explain. Where are we off to?
Well, we've both entered in different vehicles, but we're doing a banger rally. So we've had to buy a car each for under 500 quid. And I've got my team from Stealth. Dave's and his son are driving down as well. So we're going from Belgium over 3 days all the way down to Monte Carlo in an old knacker of a car that, quite frankly, I wouldn't sit in, let alone drive. But
you've got an old London taxi cab, haven't you? A black cab.
A year 2000 London taxi, and it passed its MOT first time. I'm so happy.
How many millions of miles has it done? Do you know?
I think it's been round the clock more than you, Dave.
It's going to be good. I'm going to bring a tow rope. It's going to be good. I think we're going to need it, but still.
But, I mean, what a fantastic experience. I'm doing it with friends as well, which makes it even more special.
Yeah.
But I'm raising money for a really good cause as well. So, raising money for Papworth Hospital, which are a transplant centre down south.
Yeah.
We've chosen that charity because one of our members, Helen, she's got cystic fibrosis, and the prognosis on lifespan was only sort of 31, 32, and she's now 35. She's had the double lung transplant, and she's doing immensely well. Wow. They also helped another member of ours who sadly passed away, but they tried their very best to give him a heart and lung transplant, tried to save his life. It unfortunately never happened. So we've got quite a good link with Papworth, and we wanted to do something special for them this year.
Great, so good choice. That's great, a good choice. So your sort of life now is business. It runs sort of without you. You're off on international trips and international speaking, that sort of thing. Did you think? And I'm genuinely interested when you started, or when you were sort of 10 years ago or something like that. Did you think it'd end up as it has now? Was that the vision, or has it really sort of evolved beyond your dreams now a bit?
Absolutely not. But I think that's something that's followed me throughout my life. At 16, there was no way I thought that I would ever teach martial arts. I was a black belt at 16, but it never even came into my head that I would do that. I'd always wanted to join the Air Force. That was something right from my early teens I wanted to do. So I achieved that. But things come into your head at different times in your life, and we are human beings, and we're programmed for growth and new experience. And it takes a special kind of person to sort of grab hold of these opportunities and go for it. And I think anybody that's got that inkling that they want to do something, just go and do it. I was having a conversation with one of our guys yesterday. They're really into their music, and they want to do more and more music and things like that.
Yeah.
But they've got quite a cushy job, and it's safe, and it's like, no. If you want to do this, go and do it. Because otherwise you're going to look back in 10 years' time and say, I wish. I don't want to be a wisher. I want to do things.
Yes. Okay. Okay, well, and you have, and so I guess people listening to this are maybe in business, thinking about jumping into business or something like that, whatever it is. Just over your experience, what would your, if there is such a thing, top tips? What sort of advice would you give to somebody either wanting to grow or start out now? What are the key styles there that you think you've learned?
I think the first thing is you just got to go for it. You cannot just have a vision.
Yeah.
You need to be 100% committed to that vision.
Sure.
So decide what you want to do. Go and throw your whole life into it. If that means quitting your job, if that means selling your house, selling your TV, just do it, because you can buy a bigger house, you can buy a bigger TV when you make the money back.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is find the right people to put into your life, because like I said early on, I took a lot of negative people with me on the journey at the beginning, and it drags you back as well. So, don't be ashamed or embarrassed to ask for help at any time. Most people in this world are good people, and they do want to help you.
Sure.
And when they do, it can change your life, and the people that you surround yourself with day to day makes a huge difference too.
Okay, excellent. So go for it, have a vision, and these are sort of things. It always interests me, and genuinely, I think that as you're saying that, I see this, doing what I do and what you're doing now with your, business coaching clients as well, is that people tend to think, oh, you need a budget and a forecast and a business plan and all this sort of thing, and yeah, we sort of do, but without the passion and the go for it attitude, the best business plan in the world doesn't work, does it? I don't think.
No, definitely not. I mean, if you're a numbers guy, as I call them, and all you're looking at is spreadsheets all day, you're not taking a wide enough view of the business, and more so, you're not taking a view of all the opportunities that are coming your way, because you're so focused on hitting certain numbers. Numbers are massively important, don't get me wrong, and but they should really just be your measuring stick.
Yes.
They shouldn't be the telescope. And as an entrepreneur, you need to have one hand on the measuring stick, but two eyes in the telescope. Get yourself a pair of binoculars so you can see the whole picture.
That's a great analogy. I'm going to make a note of that and steal it from you now. That's great. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, people listening, I'm sure, intrigued, and I want to thank you for your time and all your inspiration, your ideas. But should somebody want to contact you, either to become part of the Strength Forge, to become a student of martial arts, or to book you for a speaking engagement, get you on stage somewhere, or become a client of yours in your business coaching program you now run, how do we contact you? What's the best way of getting in touch with Craig Smith?
Well, we've got the email address, which is on this the banner that you've put on the podcast, which is info@stealth-uk.co.uk.
Yep.
You can also contact me through the website as well, which is all the W's at stealth-uk.co.uk.
Okay.
You could call me, but I probably won't answer, because I get 1,000 calls every day. Mr. Smith, would you like PPI? No, I wouldn't. No way. But so don't come to me by phone, because I never answer anyway. I'm never here.
No, exactly. You're always travelling around down to Monaco in your taxi.
That's it. I love that taxi. I don't want to get. I'm looking for a garage in Metz. Does anybody know a garage in Metz?
Now, you see, you're going to get me into trouble now, because Lynn's going to hear this. And we're making into a greenhouse for you, something like that. Okay. Well, look, it's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Thank you for your time. And please, everybody listen to this, link in, subscribe, contact Craig, do him a note, say thank you, get in touch, have a coffee. It's one of the few, I think, I'm going to say only, I might be wrong here, but martial arts fitness academies with a bar. And it is special. It is unique. So, connect with Craig, go and say hi. Craig, thank you again for your time and your inspiration. And I hope it was quite painless, but I do appreciate it. Look out for the podcast. We do one of these every week, pretty much. We're going to upload it to the channel. So thank you for listening. Craig, thanks again. And for now, enjoy Brexit next week. And I'll speak to you soon anyway. And bye for now.
That's great. Cheers, Dave. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.